So in this example, we are going to look at personal tax computations. So when you're looking at personal tax computations, basically we are looking at how to compute income tax payable by an individual person. So the procedure is such that you need to aggregate the income to arrive at the total taxable income. Aggregating simply means that you're doing a summation of all the incomes and gains of that individual so that you get the total taxable income. Now, when you get the total taxable income, you're going to apply the income tax rates applicable, okay, for that particular year. So every year there are income tax bands that are applicable in every fiscal year. So for the tax year 2025 to 2026, the income tax rates are as follows. So these are the tax bands that we are going to be using for calculating personal income tax. So standard personal income tax rates. So these are bands. They are grouped in a range. So income tax is calculated based on these bands given here. So you can see that the first band is such that any amount in terms of income from 0.01 to 61,200. So any income within this range, okay, within this range from 0 to 61,200 should be taxed at 0. So it means that this range is usually called the tax-free range, or the tax-free amount. In this case is going to be 61,200. By the way, these are annual bands, okay? These are annual bands. So if you're looking at annual income tax, then you have to use these annual bands. Also, it means that you can convert these annual bands to monthly bands. For example, the first band is the tax-free amount. The tax-free amount is 61,200. If you want to convert this into a monthly band, you just have to divide it by 12. So when you divide 61,000 by 12, you're going to get 5,100. So the tax-free amount for a month when you're looking at personal income tax computation is 51. So if your income is between 0 to 51, it is taxed at 0%. In short, it is tax-free. There is no income tax charged on that amount. So this is the first band. The second band, or the second range, is between anything in excess of 61,200, meaning 61,201 to 85,200. When you get the difference between this and this, you're going to get 24,000. So the next 24,000 should be taxed at 20%. If you go beyond 85,200 plus 1, you're going to have 85,201 to 110,400. So the difference between 110,400 and 85,201 is 25,200. So this 25,200 is the next value from 24,000. It is going to be taxed at 30%. then anything more than 110,400 is going to be charged at 37%. 37% is therefore the highest tax rate when you're looking at personal income tax. Okay, so these are called tax bands. These are annual tax bands, like I said. So you can convert, if you're looking at monthly income tax computation, like I said, you can simply convert these. You can simply divide all these by 12. When you divide all these by 12, the tax-free here is going to be 5,1. When you divide the next 24,000 by 12, you're going to get 2,000. So monthly 2,000 is taxed as 20%. And the next 25,200, when you divide by 12, you're going to get 2,100. So the monthly tax-free amount is 5,100. The annual tax-free amount is 61,200. The next amount, monthly 2,000, taxed at 20%. The next amount, 2,100, taxed at 30%. Anything in excess of 2,100 is taxed at the highest tax rate, which is 37%. Let's now look at an example so that you understand how to apply these rates. Let's look at this example. So the example is saying Mr. Mwanza has business profit of 91,000. The turnover of the business for the tax year 2025 was 6 million. Required, calculate the income tax payable by Mr. Mwanza for the tax year 2025. So we are looking at personal income tax computation. So we've been given that the turnover of the business for the tax year was 6 million. Why have we been given this information? Because remember, when you're looking at income tax, okay, when you're looking at income tax, all businesses that are generating annual turnover in excess of 5 million, they are liable to income tax. Then those that are generating turnover of less than 5 million, they are liable to turnover tax. So in this case, this business has the turnover in excess of 5 million. So it means that this business is liable to income tax. So we're going to apply these bands to calculate the income tax payable by Mr. Mwanza. So we are applying the personal income tax computation because this is not an incorporated company. So when you're solving such kind of questions, the first thing that you're supposed to do is to put a title on your computation. So you start with a title. So your title is going to be Mr. Mwanza personal income tax computation for 2025. So your title has clearly explained what you are trying to solve. So remember that income tax, according to the initial definition, it is charged on the incomes and gains of a resident individual. So the income in this case is the business profit of 91,000, right? So you're going to use one column, you put your current sign there, then you start with aggregating your incomes. So in this case we only have business profit as our income. So our business profit is 91,000. So given the business profit of 91,000, it's actually 91,000. How do we calculate the income tax payable by Mr. Mwanza? So remember, when you're looking at personal income tax computation, you have to use these income tax bands. Okay, so when computing income tax, remember that these bands are annual bands. So because they are annual bands, you need to be careful given a question. So you need to consider whether you're finding the income tax for a month or for a particular year. So in this example, we are looking at the tax year 2025. So our focus is going to be on the annual bands. So the annual bands are such that the first 61,000, this one, the first 61,200, it is charged at zero. If it's charged at zero, it means that it is a tax-free amount. So it is as good as removing the tax-free amount from the business profit, because the first 61,200 out of this 91,000 is tax-free. So we are going to less it from this. So we're going to say business profit less the tax-free amount. So the tax-free amount is 61,200. So after removing the 61,200 from 91,000, we are going to remain with 29,800. So this amount is going to be now taxed based on the tax bands. So the first 61,000 has been charged at 0%. So when you remove 61,000, you're going to remain with how many ranges? You're going to remain with the next 24,000 and the next 25. No, the next 20, the next 5,800. From 91,000, you remove the first 61,200. You're going to remain with 29,800, and then from 29,800 you're going to go to the next 24,000. So the next 24,000 is going to be charged at 20%. So 20% times 24,000 is 4,800. So out of this 91,000, you've removed 61,200. You've removed 24,000. So you're going to remain with 5,800. Because the balance is less than 25,200, it is going to be taxed at 30% because it is falling in the third line here. So it's going to be charged at 30%. So 30% times 5,800, you're going to have 1,740. After finding these individual tax rates, you need to sum up 48 plus 1740. You're going to get 6,540. So this 6,540 is the income tax payable by Mr. Mwanza.